What's up, Dace-tacular Nation? Chris the Dace Man, Dace here, coming to you live from Pittsburgh. Hopefully you guys can hear me very well. I know I'm on a shittier mic than usual, but, you know, we're going old school and doing it on the remote, and you can't see our faces. But joining me this week, Frank Ward.
Hey, you hear that? Just listen. It's so quiet. So nice. Oh, this is great.
There's chances she was lost at sea. Or a tornado, or something.
Tornado. I was hoping for tornado. I think that was the most recent one.
If we're lucky, that's what took her out.
And the bird's off flying back north for the summer, or what? What is he doing?
He's playing softball. So here's the thing I don't get. He messages me yesterday as I'm driving to Pittsburgh and goes, "Oh, I got a softball game tomorrow." How did you not know that in advance?
Right? They probably have a schedule or something, right?
Yeah, dick. But it is what it is. And then I ask him, is he playing Tuesdays going forward? Because, you know, maybe we should adjust the show because Tuesdays weren't really working as they are now. And we'll see. And he goes, well, not all of them.
So what does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. He does not help whatsoever to kind of be like, oh, you know, every other Tuesday, or it's just this week, or some shit.
All but one.
Yeah. So, my luck, he'll play every Tuesday that I'm on the road.
Uh-huh.
And then we'll pretty much run into this issue every week. Or every 3 weeks. But he's a dick.
Nothing surprising there.
No, not at all. Because the crazy thing is, we brought it up, and this is how shitty I am at, like, remembering people's schedules. We were talking about this last week on the show, that this show was going to be a little wonky because we honestly didn't know who was going to be on. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I think Frank's in Ireland, Trish will be on a boat, and I'm in Pittsburgh, so you're doing this by yourself, Gibby. And he went, all right. And I was like, okay, so I figured at the very least, you have Gibby, and I could rush in, like, now, because this place actually gets done at a decent time.
Right.
And no.
No, so it's a good thing I was not doing anything, traveling or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if I was traveling, I could still do a remote show.
I would have been boned if you were in Ireland.
Now that's 2 weeks. 2 weeks?
See, that's how shitty
weeks.
My memory is.
2 weeks.
They were like, oh, when is Friday? Because then we started talking about when you're being in Ireland. I was like, I think it's like next week, and he comes back after Infinity War, so he's like gone.
He's just gone for a while. Just count him out the whole month.
Yeah. I was like, he's missing like all the good movies, and he'll be in Ireland, so.
Speaking of, so I was talking to, people going to Ireland. I'm like, so, Infinity War comes out. We're going to see it, right? They're like, yeah, sure. Sweet. I go look online to book tickets early because I figure, it's going to be packed.
Yeah.
The entire theater was still open when I checked last week.
You greedy bastard. They get that shit first.
And they don't care. Like, they have entire screenings wide open.
Why would they even do business that way? Like, why would you... fuck.
I don't know.
They give them it first, usually. This is the first time we're, like, getting it the same day. Actually, you'll probably see it before us.
Maybe. Yeah, well, because it's like 6 hours ahead.
Yeah.
Over there, so yeah.
You could just be like, dude, they all die. And just ruin it for everybody. May I suggest you send that to Kerbin? Because that'll be funny.
Yes.
So for the show tonight, I have nothing.
We're doing a thing.
Yeah, I have nothing prepared.
Me neither.
I do have some sports. I don't have, so I guess in transitioning down to the Dace-man for the podcast, I deleted all the shit off this laptop.
So you don't have the intros and stuff?
I do, but I have to do them through Windows Media Player, which is a kind of a bitch. Because it likes to roll into the next one. So trying to say welcome to the show as well as hitting stop and unmuting myself was just it was a feat. I'm surprised we didn't get a little bit of a sports theme song going. But
well, the plus side, I wouldn't notice the difference.
No, you wouldn't. Everybody else would be like, what the fuck? Is this just speed show? Speed run.
Yeah, run it through.
Yeah. But I do have some sports news. A lot of playoffs are happening or some shit.
Oh, yeah, there's something important going on.
Yeah, so just shit. Cause shit. Anyway, this is the time where I yell. It's time for. Is that it? Yeah, it's time for sports.
About sports, you follow sports?
Give it. Oh shit! See, it just did it, motherfucker. Rolled right into weird news with Gibby.
Gibber.
Yeah, it goes, oh, sports. You talk about sports, then you just hear Gibby. Anyway, we got some MLB standings in the American League East. The Red Sox are leading their division with 8 wins, 1 loss. Trailing behind them are the Blue Jays with 7 wins, 4 losses. And the Yankees are broken even at 5-5. Over the AL Central, the Twins and the Indians are tied for first. While the Twins have 4 wins, 4 losses. The Indians have 5 wins, 5 losses. Wow, that division sucks. And then the rest. The AL West, the defending World Series champs, the Houston Astros, are leading their division. 9 wins, 2 losses, followed by the Angels with 8 wins, 3 losses. And the Mariners have broken even. Okay, over to the National League East. That's for you in the Philadelphia region. This is what you care about.
That's us?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'm ready.
Somehow, the New York Mets are leading the division with 8 wins, 1 loss.
Woo, go Mets.
Yeah, the Braves are 6-4 thanks to the Phillies. The Nationals are 5-5. The Phillies are 4-5, which I don't know how. They suck. And the Marlins are 3-7. That's how. They beat the Marlins. Over to the NL Central, the Pirates leading their division with 8 wins, 2 losses, followed by the Brewers with 6 wins, 5 losses. And then the NL West has the Diamondbacks leading with 8 wins, 2 losses, and the Rockies trailing behind them with 5 wins, 6 losses. So, for you guys in Philadelphia, some playoff news. The Philadelphia Flyers clinched this weekend a wild card spot. And to my delight, they're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins.
To my undelight, they play Wednesday, which I'm pretty sure canceled trivia night.
Oh.
Bullshit.
That's beat.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing
Then
here
they
in Pittsburgh.
And they play next Wednesday as well, so no trivia then. Then I'm in Ireland, so no trivia then.
They're not going to make it the next Wednesday. They're awful. The fact that they got in is just how sad of a state hockey is in right now. They did not deserve it.
Is hockey bad?
Not if you're in Vegas. Somehow that expansion team clinched first in their entire division, like their league.
Oh.
It's fucking crazy.
Wait, that's a different league?
Well, not different league, but like different division or whatever the other side of it is.
I know nothing of hockey. Well, yeah.
I think they have
I'll
like an AFL and shit like that, or AFC or something. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
I probably could be doing that too, but instead I'll just be confused.
Standings.
There's a left side and a right side.
There's the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. Well, they did it simple. You think I would have got
left,
that?
left and right side, like I said.
But yeah, they have 82. Okay, so they're not the best. Never mind.
Oh.
I don't know how to read this. Oh no, they are. Nope, they're not.
What?
The Pacific Division sucks. That's why they got in.
Oh.
The Central Division, like the Predators, the Jets, they're just dominating it. The Flyers, though, they don't deserve to be there. Like,
I thought the Flyers, like, they started really good. Didn't they start, like, 10-game win streak? It was all hype and excitement and parades. And
They were, after the Eagles won the Super Bowl, they won 10 straight. And then after that, it's like, oh, they might make the playoffs. Like, what the fuck happened? Yeah, they just gave up, pretty much. It was sad. Sad. And that's kind of all I have for sports. Like, I don't follow it enough.
The basketball, because
Sixers are in the playoffs. They clinched the 3rd seed.
yeah, Because they beat LeBron, or LeBron let him win, or something like that.
Yeah, and if you listened to the couch talk this weekend at WrestleMania, that WrestleMania happened. But anyway, if you listen to the couch talk, the Sixers actually could have a chance to win it all.
Okay.
Because they're lying to the championship game. Those teams are like plagued with injuries and shit.
Oh, sabotage.
Essentially, until they get to the championship game where they could have a problem. Like I think it's Golden State or Cleveland would give them a run, but they keep beating Cleveland. So,
but I honestly can't take it if another Phillies team does something this year.
It's exhausting.
Can't handle it. Too much happiness in this area for a bunch of angry people. It doesn't make sense.
For every sport but the sport I like.
Yeah. So it's no good. No point.
Yeah, I got to deal with shitty Gabe Kapler who just keeps fucking up, left and right. If you're unfamiliar with Gabe Kapler, he was the douchebag of the week last week.
I heard about that.
Yeah. I almost had an aneurysm.
Oh.
Veins popping out. I was spitting all over Gibby because I was so passionate. It was a moment.
It sounds beautiful. I'm kind of sorry I missed it. It's what the good old days of the douchebag used to be like.
Yeah.
Good old days.
And we tried something else. He said, hey, if you guys are listening and you have a douchebag of the week you would like us to rant about, send an email to Gibby. He doesn't check it.
Gibby said that?
No, I did.
Oh, I thought you said he said that.
No. But
like Gibby had an idea? Oh, shit.
There's a good chance if you send him an email for this week's douchebag, I'm not going to get it until tomorrow. And he'll be like, oh, this came. And I'm like, thank you.
You have a douchebag of this week, we'll get a month from now. So, douchebag of 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. But other than that, WrestleMania was Sunday, so they managed to take what used to be a 4-hour event and stretch it somehow to 7.5 hours.
Nice.
Started at 5, ended at 12:30. And so I don't know what happened.
Are we back live yet or no?
Yeah, it just kept going.
Okay. Yeah, you just got done explaining how long it went. You said ended at 12:30, and then I lost you here. Didn't know if one of us was still coming over, so I checked the feed, and no, that's you dropped then.
I think I'm still live.
I guess I probably shouldn't have turned that off.
Well, I'm looking at it on my phone, and it says 0 viewers. That sounds about right. I think we're back up. Holiday and caught onto my shit.
I don't know. I don't know how to work Facebook. I don't know how to work technology still at all ever.
Well, I think I'm on Twitch.
Yeah, that's what I'm switching over to.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch.
I don't know how to work Facebook.
Yeah.
I don't know how to work. Hey, I hear me.
There we go. So WrestleMania ran 7.5 hours, ending with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Brock Lesnar surprisingly retaining the title, despite rumors of going to UFC. And
building him up to so you drop it because of whatever, something.
Yep. That's what everybody anticipated. And then Lesnar gave him 5 F5s, and then got tired of his shit, and then just started punching him in the head, and then pinned him.
Oh.
And then there was rumors online that Brock got backstage and threw the title at Vince's face.
Because he didn't actually want it?
I don't know. I think he got mad that the crowd turned on him. The crowd immediately started chanting, "This is awful."
So the crowd didn't want either one to win.
Yeah.
Basically.
And if Brock was watching the match before, Braun Strowman had to find a tag team partner for his match, otherwise he couldn't go for the tag team titles.
Uh-huh.
He went out in the crowd and got a 10-year-old boy named Nicholas. And the crowd went apeshit for it. They thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And then they won the tag team championships. And the crowd continued to go absolutely apeshit.
Oh, so that's what the little kid thing was about.
Yep. And then Brock came out and they booed him. So the prized fighter was they didn't want him. They wanted the kid. And then the kid relinquished the title on Raw last night, and the crowd booed.
Aw. The kid gave it. He didn't even get to defend it.
Well, Braun walked up and he's like, I hate to say this, but I'm relinquishing the titles because he's got prior commitments until the age of 18. But when he's back, he knows what he's going to do, and the kid yells, they're going to catch these hands! And, like, it was, that kid is a future Hall of Famer.
He's So his life is set in, like, 8 years.
Oh, my God. So, like, yes. He better be on the cover of 2K19. That's all I'm saying. The kid's got it made. But that's all I had for sports. Mania was really good. Rousey actually surprised people and put on a hell of a match. Maybe because the bar was so low, but decent match.
That's good, though, I think, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The shocking thing was Kurt Angle was probably the worst thing about that match.
Well, he's old and broken anyway, isn't he?
Yeah.
So.
And that's kind of what that kind of showed.
Are they still running the bit with him and his kid? Did that drop away?
His kid got injured and the crowd got happy.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it probably would have been him or the kid versus Seth Rollins at Mania. But instead, Seth Rollins got the Intercontinental Championship. So it worked for everybody.
Yay!
Yeah.
What about Taker? Did Taker show up?
He did.
Did he fight him?
He
Fight
beat
Cena?
the hell out of Cena in like a squash match.
Oh.
Did all his moves, running around like a maniac, and then just left. Like, he looked like he did maybe 10 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
So maybe he just needed a break, recoup, go to Jamaica.
I guess.
Relax on a beach for a little bit.
They fixed that hip, he lost some pounds, and he fucking kicked Cena's ass.
All right, good deal. I bet Chuck was happy.
I do give them props, though, with the Cena thing. They started WrestleMania with Cena sitting in the audience drinking beer. Like, they really played it up. And then after the Charlotte Asuka match, a ref came running down the fucking ramp, jumps the barrier and goes, Taker's here, and Cena just sprints up the runway. It was, again, I give him credit for making Cena sit in the audience, because the audience wouldn't leave him the fuck alone.
Uh-huh.
They're like, oh, can I take a picture? And you could just see him getting mad, but as soon as he notices the cameras, he's like, yeah, absolutely, we can take a picture. Oh, boy. But it was a decent show, very long, which makes me contemplate actually going next year when it's in New Jersey. Because I'm not sitting in one of those seats for 7.5 hours.
Now those seats suck.
Yep. So if we get a box, I'm in.
Oh, there you go. Go VIP.
Yeah, fuck it. Sit with, like, Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe just start tweeting Sean now.
Hey, Sean, get in a box next year. How much will that run? Can you cover it?
Explain the boyhood dream.
Has come true. Let us finish this sentence. Well, that's all I have for sports.
That was good sports. That was 21 minutes ish.
Yeah.
Minus an interruption there of sports.
Yeah. And then I just need to Google real quick what gaming news is.
We're a talk show.
Yeah.
Talking about talk shows.
Stuff.
You know what's weird? Well, it's not really weird. I don't know why that was my segue, but whatever, I said it. Somehow I got... It's weird because I was on YouTube, and anybody that's actually listening that's watched us stream, we complain about how we don't watch anybody else on YouTube or Twitch or anything because they're all stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But somehow I found myself on YouTube, and I was watching these two dudes called Rhett and Link. They do Good Mythical Morning. That's not a plug. Do not go fucking watch them because I said it. This isn't a shout-out to them. Anyway.
That's fair.
Though for some reason I was watching them, and they do like anywhere between 10 to 15 minute little clips of a morning show, and they have something they're talking about. And I don't want to admit this live on air, but I'm going to. But they were actually entertaining. It scared me.
That is scary. That there's
And
something
really,
entertaining on YouTube still.
And my takeaway from this, because they have millions of viewers and followers, I don't know where they came from. From what I was trying to do some history, like, are they comedians that came from like SNL that just spun off to YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
But from what I could tell, they were just dudes that came on YouTube and took off. So all I'm saying is there's still hope for us. That whole story was just to say there's still hope for us. That's all.
Awesome. Well, no, I think I know the guys you're talking about. I think they are actually like,
They have like 4 different channels or some shit.
and they've been in commercials.
Probably. One dude has a beard, the other dude has glasses.
Yeah, the other dude looks weird. Like, but the guy with glasses, he looks kind of awkward.
Yeah. He reminds me a little bit of Paul Rudd, only not as likable as Paul Rudd, but that's because I'm in love with Paul Rudd.
Yeah, he's got what I call a punchable face. Like,
You wouldn't punch Paul Rudd, though.
No. Paul Rudd doesn't have glasses. So,
Right.
this other guy,
Yeah. Punch
Rhett
him.
and
That's
or
fine.
Link.
Punch him in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Don't punch Beard Guy, though, because he's got a beard.
Yeah. Hey,
People respect beards.
I have somewhat of a beard.
I do not have a beard. Or glasses, though, so
No
I'm
punches.
a wash.
No punches.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it's time for the annoying thing.
Did I stall long enough? Did I do good?
I think you did.
Frank do good? Yay!
Frank did great. And on that note, it's time for gaming news with not Gibby, but with me. But you're still gonna fuck it. It's time for gaming news. Gibby.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
It's the son of a bitch. Stop doing that. Anyway, God of War. It's coming out April 20th, maybe sooner. That's what GameStop called. But apparently, it has 4 difficulty options out there, and according to GameSpot.com, the highest sounds really tough.
Uh-oh.
That's all. See, I don't go into these damn things. I just read the headlines.
So let me get this straight. There's difficulties, and the lowest one is easy, and the hardest one is really hard.
Yeah, I think so.
Kind of scaled up difficulty levels.
Oh, here's the difficulty options. Give me a story. Lets you experience the story without too much of a difficult gameplay challenge. You won't be taking a gondola to the top of the highest peaks in all the Norse realms, but you will have a far greater margin for error in enemy encounters. God, Gibby would never be able to read this. The second one is Give Me a Balanced Experience, which is the mode we'd recommend most players start with. The name says it all. We've tuned in to deliver a balanced, challenging playthrough. Third is Give Me a Challenge. Is harder and less forgiving. It is recommended for players who find action games extremely intuitive, and for confident, longtime God of War series veterans who've beat past games on harder difficulties. And then lastly, it's Give Me God of War. Is the sort of the thing reserved for people who wrestle polar bears in their undies. Maybe not.
I do that.
Maybe not quite that, but it's the most difficult mode in the game. They haven't just made you weaker or enemies stronger. They've looked at enemies' behaviors and placements and encounters, as well as tweaking everything to make it as threatening as possible. Best of all, you cannot change difficulties once you start a game on this mode. So if you
Nice.
suddenly realize you're in way over your head, you'll have to start a new game. Don't be sorry, be better. I love God of War.
You know, I like it, but there's a little bit of irony in so I think we've complained about how games are so much easier nowadays than they were for us when we were kids,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I find myself now, anytime I find a difficult game that sucks, I just get pissed off and quit. Like, I don't even have the patience to tough through it anymore. It's just, no, fuck this game, I'm done. It's too hard.
Yeah, and I think it's because there's just so much option out there. Like, if you get mad at a game, you just go play another game.
Yeah, like, there's a game called Cuphead that Nick downloaded on the Xbox. I'm like, I'll give this a shot.
I've heard horrible things about that game.
I couldn't get past the first level. It was fucking ridiculous. I tried for like 20 minutes and then said, fuck this, I'm done. I'm never touching that game again.
And it's one of those games that where you die, you go back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think. I couldn't get past the first level, so I don't know if you die farther on how far back you go. Because I couldn't get anywhere in the game, period.
Oh, shit.
At all. Yeah, it's tough. It is tough.
There's nothing really good here.
You don't have any PUBG news about how they something players, some new record, something.
There's Monster Hunter. The world's director answered their burning questions, but who the fuck cares about that?
Gonorrhea. You can now play PUBG on your fridge.
They're removing some GTA 4 songs, but they're putting new ones in place. Didn't realize people still kept playing GTA 4.
And who actually pays attention to the music?
That's a good point.
Like, you just going around for a Sunday cruise in a car? Like, just driving around for 2 hours? Listening to the tune?
Apparently, 135 new Hearthstone Witchwood expansion cards, Jizzard, came out. Can't really do that to myself.
No.
I'm going to try a different site. I went to the site that Gibby usually uses. Where the fuck does he find shit? Like, that gave me nothing. The God of War thing was interesting.
To be fair, he's also a lot more lenient on what he finds, quote-unquote, interesting.
They got a list of...
Go ahead. Something.
Yeah, it's true.
No, I was just saying. He'll choose anything.
We'll have 8 stories on fucking PUBG, and they're all essentially the same thing. IGN's reporting the list of the backward-compatible games coming to the Xbox. And I checked the date on the story. It's today, so I'm not going to give you a Gibby scenario. A new wave of original... what the fuck? Okay, a new wave of original... Don't do this to me again. A new wave of original Xbox games are headed to the Xbox One thanks to backwards compatibility support. Microsoft announced today, including beloved classics like The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind, Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords, Jade Empire, and many more. The full list of games will be split into 2 groups and deployed in the coming weeks, with the first 8 games available on April 17th, followed by the second collection on April 26th. Full breakdown is below, but so you don't have anything to scroll to, I'm just going to read it to you. April 17th, you can get Blinks, the Time Sweeper, Breakdown, Conquer, Live and Reloaded, The Elder Scrolls 3, Morrowind, Hunter, The Reckoning, Jade Empire, Panzer Dragoon Orta.
Yeah, best game ever.
And
never heard of it.
SSX3. So I would
Also
pass on
heard.
that one. Coming out April 26th, you can get Destroy All Humans.
Yeah! Kill them all.
Full Spectrum Warrior. Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. I'm pretty sure I listened to one of the songs from the commercials back then.
Was that a good song?
Yeah, it's Oh No You Didn't. Oh No You Didn't. Sucker tried to play me, but you never paid me. Never.
Yeah, I remember that song. Sorry.
This is the pack to get, though, if you're a Star Wars fan.
Okay.
But we're not at Star Wars yet. So MX Unleashed, Panzer Elite Action, Fields of Glory, Europe only.
Europe only? Fuck Europe.
Yeah. And then here comes the good stuff. Star Wars Battlefront, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and I'm assuming this is the older ones, not the new stuff. Although EA might be struggling, so you might get it for free. The Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, Star Wars Jedi Starfighter, Star Wars Knights of the Old Republics 2, The Sith Lords, and Star Wars Republic Commando.
Aw, yeah.
I think I have... See, I can never get Knights of the Old Republic because that's Xbox exclusive, but I do have them for the original Xbox. It's the only reason I stole Justin's. Huh.
I played it for the computer when they had the computer version, briefly.
The game's fun. And it goes into like a realm of Star Wars that we don't get to see that often. It's like thousands of years before Skywalkers.
I give Disney time. There'll be movies.
Ryan Johnson. If he's smart, that's the way he'd go. PUBG.
Yeah! Woo! It made the news!
It will be free to play during Xbox Live Gold's free play days.
What? Wait. But... for the people that already bought it?
You beat.
Like, oh, cool, people can play for free, but everybody else that already spent $50 on it sucks to be you.
So when we were at PAX East, this is how much Xbox is just all in on fucking PUBG. Their entire display was just Xboxes with that game for you to play. I don't
Against
understand.
everybody else in the room.
Yeah. Like, they had... how many can you get into a thing? 96?
Sure, that sounds good.
They had 96 computers and they would do sessions. Like, you would come in, play, and as you died, you left. You were playing everybody within that little... well, not little, but the cube they boxed down on the floor. They have essentially... remember when we were there last year, they had a shitload of tabletop games and stuff?
Yeah, over by the food area.
Yeah, that's gone.
Oh,
I guess they said since you're going to be in Philly, you're not welcomed. And it was taken up by PUBG.
oh,
Yeah.
that's unfortunate. We spent a lot of time sitting over there. It was a good chair.
We did. The first thing we went to was over there. We actually talked to a guy who created a Dungeons and Dragons, like he built like a set for you to walk through, like a maze type thing. And Gibby tried to get his secrets so he could build one. Because he goes, "Do you build this?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, for a price." And then Gibby goes, "Well, how'd you build it?" And he told him, Gibby goes, "I do that," and then walked away. And it was like, I'm sure he's happy that you just said, fuck your skills, I'm just going to go do this. The only thing we don't have is a 3D printer.
You can find one of those on eBay.
Yeah, right?
I assume they're cheap. No.
Nah. I told him to expense it to Uncle Carl. I'm sure there's some kind of reason we could use it here.
Yes.
But the PAX East convention, because I'm out of stories. Because there's not, it's all just like game reviews and stuff. You think there'd be much more news, but there's not. So we went to PAX East, and I guess this will be a good chunk of our show. And the displays were, the indie games were crazy. Like, first of all, they threw all the tabletop out, and that makes sense if they're going to do Philly. They moved the vendors to the side. Like, you know how the one side was kind of, the sides were kind of like independent gamers?
Uh-huh.
The one side, it's hard to explain. But if you came in and you looked left, they're on the left side, it's all vendors. The right side was all independent, and then the independent bled into the middle, but they were like the independent A-listers. Like Tiny Build.
Yeah.
Guys who had a couple of things under their belt and had, pushed out some good games. And then you had Xbox, which was PUBG driven. PlayStation, which was disappointing. You have God of War coming out on the 20th, and we can't touch it. You bring some game called Detroit.
Detroit? What do you do?
So
you just join a gang and...
Well, this is how it was explained to us, and then we both went, nope, we don't understand that. I think you've played Heavy Rain, right?
Yeah.
It's exactly like that. It's developed by the same people, but in Detroit.
That sounds neat. The Heavy Rain was a fantastic game, though.
That's the guy tried to pitch it on us, and Brian goes, they don't have a gun. I don't know what's going on. And he walked away.
You occasionally had a weapon, but that wasn't the big point of it.
But the crazy thing was that was what was on most of their systems. That and Soul Calibur 6.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a good, convention game to put up. Even if it is a fantastic game, but the whole thing was like the storyline, blah, blah, blah. That's not what people are at the convention for.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I would have stood in that line and waited to play God of War just to try it.
Yeah, that would have definitely made more sense.
But that was the primary thing they were pushing. And then I would say the secondary thing they were pushing was Soul Calibur 6. Which I have to now reserve. And all the advertisement in that area was about Spyro coming out in September. All the banners and shit kept showing, the original trilogy is getting an HD remake.
That's funny. It's literally just a remaster, right? They're not doing anything new with it. They're just bringing it into the new technology.
They are Crash Bandicooting that bitch.
Yes.
Which I'll get it. I'm not going to lie, because I love those. I think I actually played those games more than I played Crash, in hindsight.
I did. I wasn't a PlayStation guy until PlayStation 3, so... Yeah, I missed out.
But as far as booths, they also had a Blizzard one where they had Jizzard. They had
I was just
their.
trying to help you out.
Thank you, I appreciate it because it's so awkward being the guy talking about it, especially since I know nothing about it and was not really as impressed as Gibby was.
Right.
But they had a booth there selling their merch, and then they had a second area reserved for people who wanted to play WoW at the convention. So what I don't get is why people spend money to go into there to play games they could play at home.
Right? Like you don't get any bonus anything, do you? Do you at least get, I don't know, a cool shirt or armor?
No,
Skin?
Nothing you can take with you. You were using whatever their mods were. So like you would log in as like guest one, and then when your session was done, you got ushered out.
So you didn't even get credit for like your account for doing anything either.
Nope.
Oh.
And that was the same for like PUBG and I don't know. Do you get anything from Detroit? But anywhere where they were doing that mass stuff, it was like you used their accounts, you did their game, and then you got the fuck out.
It sounds weird.
But then there was also a Twitch booth, which if you'd like to be engulfed by people who did not want to move and smelled really bad, that's the place to go because the popular streamers would go into their little lounge thing, but it was open and like not even elevated to the point where they couldn't make eye contact with you or whatever. It was open to the point that if I walked close enough, I could have smacked them in the face.
You should have.
Just
out of principle.
I wanted to, but there was too many smelly nerds in between me and them that I couldn't smack them.
Oh, you should have threw a hot dog at them.
Right. But they were dead center in that convention floor, and they just fucked traffic. If I was an independent gamer, I'd be pissed, because that had to have deterred so many people from going down the one way.
Right.
And your booth's there, and it's like, what the fuck? They should have had their own, like, hall or room, and you just ushered people into that if they wanted to see people.
But so was it really just like, hey, look at these Twitch people, because they're here, they're almost like celebrities?
Yes, and I guess
it was just to go look at them.
The super popular ones did autographs there.
Well, that's more than they do on their actual stream.
Yeah.
So.
The partners had the ability to come in and sit in their lounge. Yeah. And then we went to two of their we went to their Q&A where they kind of just gave, like, it sounded like we were on a shareholders meeting, because they were giving us an update of what they were working on, how long it was going to take, and then they did a Q&A with the internet. So they're changing the whole dashboard. When I leaned over to Gibby and went, great, I just learned this one, so I'm fucked. And that they're trying to... They were trying to tell you that in order to get more viewers, it's not about getting people to host you or some shit.
Okay.
Like, let's just say we had like one of the most popular streamers decide to host us, and we get 1,000 views today. Mm-hmm. Those 1,000 views go away tomorrow when he doesn't host us.
Makes sense, but wouldn't maybe, even if it was just like 5 of those 1,000, just 5 people, we're like, hey, I really like them, at least I'll check out their channel as well?
Yes, like you have that ability, but the fucking retention rate is very low, they said, because they study these numbers and stuff.
Yeah, makes sense.
And I get that. And then we did another panel, which we thought was Twitch, but was Mixer.
Okay.
And they brought up 5 of their popular streamers, and I thought it was going to literally be like, if you do this, this, and this is how you increase things. But instead it was like, hey, so-and-so, how did you become famous? And they were like, well, my sister was really popular, and I kind of just broke off from that. Or, I'm the only guy in Norway that understands streaming, and that's why I took off. And it's like, what the fuck? How are you talking helpful? And then they went into like one thing I took away, and it really makes sense because hearing other people say it to me, it's like, yeah, I do that. Play things you enjoy.
Because then you're more lively on camera and stuff?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
that
like,
makes sense.
if you absolutely hate PUBG and you complain about how you hate PUBG, people are going to not only hear you complain, even though you might be doing it in a joking manner, they will see it on your face. Just don't do it then. Play whatever you want. And it's a catch-22. Because obviously you want to cash in on these hot streaks. Like,
right.
PUBG's the game right now. But someone like me, never going to play PUBG because I think it's stupid.
Right.
But if I want to go play... I want to go play Super Mario World for SNES, because for some reason I've had a craving to play that. No one's going to really watch. You might get somebody who stumbles in that said all of a sudden, like, hey, I want to see Super Mario World.
Right, but you're not going to get 1,000 people to come watch you play Mario.
Exactly. And then the one thing that I think hurts us as a collective is they said stay within a genre. So if you're PUBG people, stay within first-person shooters or the Battle Royale games or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And I look at all three of us, and all three of us are completely different gamers.
Right. So, yeah.
There's me, who's on the extreme end of just like, I don't want to pick up a gun. Gibby, who only picks up guns, and you, who can blend between both.
Yeah, basically.
And it's like, that would kill you. Because if we actually went to a schedule that said, Gibby, it's just a Gibby, Frank, Dace.
Uh-huh.
If you're starting off on that first day, it is not going to be the same as the last day. Because I'll be playing, like, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. And Gibby will be playing Hearthstone.
But they're saying so it's not good to have a variety like that?
You piss off the fan base that follows you for the one.
Oh.
Because they tune in expecting to see one thing, they get another. Now, the only thing that I think would save us would be...
we're a delight?
Yeah, we're personalities, for sure. But if the schedule was Gibby, Frank, Dace, and we continued with that on a consistent basis, they know not to turn in to the 6th day because you don't want to see that. You tune in to day 1 and 2.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know. They were interesting panels, but also felt like just kind of like the conversation we're having now. Whereas there's little nuggets in there, but most likely it's just all like garbage filter.
Right. I'm going to chalk it up to you almost just have to get lucky and do one thing that takes off, and you might be high for like a month, and then all of a sudden they leave you again, but
yeah.
I don't know if there even is really a winning formula. These guys they say things, but do they really have a whole lot of proof on it?
The only thing that I've gathered is you have to be unique. Those are the ones that stick around. The ones that, most of them that were talking, it sounded like they got lucky.
Yeah.
I would say 3 out of the 4 that were on that panel for Mixer got lucky. The one was probably because I don't want to be mean. Actually, it's not mean. It's just an observation. They're all sitting up there, and it's a girl, a guy, a girl, and 3 guys. The second guy that was next to the girl had a beard, purple hair, because that was everywhere at the fucking convention, and covered in glitter. So I automatically hated that person. The moment he talked, he had a girl's voice, girlier than any of the girls we know. Like Trish, Amber.
Amanda?
Yes, Amanda, but British.
Ugh. That sounded even meaner, but
yeah. But
okay.
when the person started talking, because now at this point it's no longer a guy. I honestly don't know what was going on with that entire package. Not to be
2018,
disrespectful.
you know, yeah, you can't, blah, 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 whatever.
Like,
Or, yeah.
full-blown appearance, you're a dude with a lot of glitter on you. You speak, you're a woman. So, the person even said that, like, she used to be a moderator in a chat and decided, I'm going to stream one day. Or or they played a game with the person they were moderating with, and everybody thought that they were a girl.
Mm-hmm.
Start their own stream, oh my god, beard, like, you look like a dude. And took off that way. And I would think that person was the unique one. Because they even said they got a lot of backing from streaming, from that LGBT community.
Oh God, that's such a cop out. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of. I get it. If you're actually legitimately entertaining and you're getting flack because you're different, be the nice way to put it.
Yeah.
Then I understand the backing. But I really feel like just no matter what you are, if you're that way, that sounds so vague saying it. Whatever. If you're, you know, if you're like this, fuck it. If you're a dude that looks like a chick and want to identify as a chick, whatever. But the point is, if you're just doing something, you don't automatically get credit for being awesome. You know what I mean? At least that's my take on it. I don't know. I'll stop talking before I dig ourselves in a hole here.
No.
And then
I think you're absolutely right, because that's a lot of what was going on up there. Like, the girl that was there was only popular because her sister took off.
Yeah.
And she's playing a stupid game. Like, even everybody on the panel made fun of the game because it's not a game that would take off on its own. It only took off because she played it. The other guy, not Norway, but this other guy, he took off because he plugged in his Xbox one day, hit streaming, and for some reason he got featured on Twitch.
Like just luck of the draw.
Yep, front page featured. And they stuck around ever since. And then the fourth guy was Norway, and people were like, I like your accent. Or your hair. And the fact that everybody in Norway didn't know what he did for a living, which was streaming. And it took off there. So they were all special circumstances in my mind. That I can't do what they did. And there's nothing that unique about us, except for the fact that we're a podcast that's gone almost, well in June, 5 years. Which is a pretty lengthy run, even though it's not super popular off the fucking charts. But we're unique in that.
Yeah, that we've had a weekly show running for 5 years, almost every week. There might have been one or two where we had to finagle some.
Yeah, like a clip show, or it was just you or I rambling on for an hour.
Yeah, but in some fashion, we've had a show.
Yeah. So to me, they preached uniqueness and do what makes you happy, and it's just like, what would make me happy is if people actually were entertained by what I did.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. There was one panel we did miss that I really would have liked to gotten to, was streaming, maintaining a Twitch stream while being employed.
While being an adult?
Essentially.
Yeah.
And me and Gibby went, shit, we both should have went to that. Because that would have had the most valuable information.
Yeah, definitely. Would have. Well, maybe it's still probably part of that, but the problem with our work is obviously, like right now, you're in Pittsburgh, you're traveling.
Mm-hmm.
Last week I was in Boston, I'm traveling, so it's hard for us to do a lot of things.
I don't know what the fuck Gibby's excuse is. But
and to be fair too, like, you know, you don't always feel like playing a video game.
Exactly, and that's why I thought the collective idea, for at least for the Dace Man show, would work out better, because it's a collective. You get a bunch of people to kind of jump in. But we picked people who are just consistently busy. Like, there's not one person on our team that isn't always doing something.
Right.
That when you get the downtime is just nice to have fucking downtime.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that was my PAX East experience for gaming news.
Yay!
I
almost had a little bit of helpful gaming news, and then I didn't, but I'm still going to kind of bring it up.
Sure.
But Last of Us 2, Part 2.
Oh, nice. Still need to play 1, but nice.
Well, because I was looking up Detroit, and it brought that up. And they vaguely are releasing information about it, so they kind of give a little bit of the storyline, how you're with Elle, or Ellie, whatever her name is, and she's like 19 and doing stuff. But the release date is early 2019 as of right now, but they're not saying anything specific. But it's coming. That's the big thing. It's coming.
Nice.
So that's neat.
They finally gave a Spider-Man release date for September 7th.
Of this year?
Yep.
Ooh.
I'm excited for that, because that is the Batman Arkham people doing Spider-Man. And I know a lot, well, I know a lot about Batman, but Spider-Man. Spider-Man's cool. And then Red Dead Redemption 2 comes out in October or November? Around Christmas.
Okay.
And I unfortunately did fall into the trap, and I reserved Super Smash Bros. For the Switch. That will not be used at tournaments. I don't trust you people with my Switch.
You people?
Yeah.
What do you mean, you people?
Those angry gamers. They know who they are.
Oh.
Fucking AJ Styles, people throwing controllers all over the fucking place. But yeah. So there's a couple games that are pretty cool that are coming out. PAX East was fun. We did realize that next year if we do this, we definitely have to go up Wednesday night because a lot happened Thursday, and Thursday wasn't sold out. And we would have had more time to talk with the independent gamers.
That makes sense.
Yeah, which none of us knew. Like, I don't know why it didn't click for any of us, because all of us had to register on that damn site that specifically said the dates. But all three of us had in our mind it was the same way it was last year. So we were going to go up Thursday, spend Friday, bail out midday Saturday.
Right.
And it was just like, they've got panels on Thursday. Like, they had a shitload of Blizzard panels Thursday. You have no idea how...
How pissed Gibby was?
Oh, yeah. He was like, he's like, so what time are we leaving? I'm like, we can leave whenever you want. Well, there's a Blizzard panel at noon. I was like, I guess we're leaving at 5 a.m. Like, we ended up getting up there like 3 or 4. Got our passes, did a lap around the expo hall before it closed at 6, and then got dinner. And then Amber made us late the next day.
Well, that's nothing new there. At least that's the same.
Yes. Also thought Amber and Gibby were going to kill each other.
It's not surprising, but...
Like, last year, I feel like Amber handled it a lot better.
Well, she's had a year of torment. It's probably burnt down. She's breaking. You can see it. It's happening.
And he didn't have Ashley to reel him back in. So.
Well, he didn't like her either.
No. But he also had you and I to distract him. I just was pretty much quiet as they fought.
That's true, yeah.
And he wandered by himself.
Yeah.
This year I kind of piggybacked with him because he doesn't remember things. Like, he gets all this knowledge and he goes, that thing. And it's like, Jesus Christ, there's 1,000 vendors there. What do you mean, the thing?
I talked to that guy and he had that game, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, did you get his card? Nah, I gave him mine. Yeah, okay, you don't answer the email. So, you're just going to think it's another Steam code and you're just going to let it go to waste. So yeah, we tailed him this year. Met a couple guys. I have all the stuff in my book bag, so gonna hopefully give you some PAX East content soon. And then I think we're gonna do a nerd based on PAX East, where we kind of try to break down everything. I took hundreds of pictures. Like,
that's good.
Too many.
Oh.
So yeah, even though Amber was there as the photographer. And then I said, like I said, we sat in a couple panels like we discussed here on the show, and I tried out. I actually played more games this year than I did last year. So to me, that means there's a lot more games that I find more interesting than I did last year. There's one that I need to buy or find. I haven't looked it up yet. It's called Iron Maiden.
Ion?
Yeah.
Iron?
ION.
Okay.
And it's essentially Doom. But like the
Okay.
old school Doom. Like the graphics and everything. I was like, that's amazing. I need that. So I'm going to find that. And then there was another one that's like called like Deadbeat Tony or something. Or maybe I just made that name up. It was like a poor man's Mario, but it was kind of like Default Dan,
Yeah.
but not. It was like if Default Dan was a Mario Maker.
Okay.
And that looked amazing. To just make like it's like, hey, did you really like Default Dan? Well, here's an opportunity to piss your friends off by making that kind of game on your own. So I was like, I'm sold.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think I still have. Oh no, that was another computer ago. I don't have Default Dan on here anymore.
I miss Default Dan. I need a second one.
Yeah, whatever happened with those guys? Did they?
I
they alive?
have not seen them in a convention lately, so that that game must have taken off, and either they're working on their next one or
They're dead.
they did come out with the next one, and I just didn't realize they were the same people.
Dead.
As a shitty person that I am.
Dead.
Anyway, that takes us to 9 o'clock.
I know. I went through all this effort to find a corner because I thought, oh, you know what? There's only 2 of us on the show. Maybe I'll finally have a corner this week. But no.
Well, we can still do it. I mean, I
No,
got nowhere
no,
to go. I'm in a hotel.
No, I don't want to do it.
Save it for next week.
Now I'll close this tab and it'll be gone. It wasn't really. I had 2 options.
What were the options?
People share simple changes they made to improve their lives, so a little bit of life hacks, if you will, or helpful things,
Okay.
or anti jokes.
What?
Basically,
Oh, auntie jokes. Like
yes,
my auntie.
and anti joke,
Oh, anti.
like I don't even know if it's on this list, but the one that I always think of is a black man and a Mexican drive off a cliff on in a Corvette. What's the tragedy? They were my best friends.
Oh. I thought you lost the Corvette.
Or what's worse than a worm in your apple?
Uh,
The Holocaust.
so, okay.
So they're jokes like that.
I like those.
So actually, I could probably speed through those, even though there's like 15. Jesus Christ! Holy shit! There's a lot more than I thought. 35.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I didn't expect that. So it's up to you. If you want me to go through either one of these, I gladly will, but they're not epically entertaining.
Bookmark it, and we'll do it next week.
Bookmarks.
Well, oh, is it on your phone?
No, it's on my computer,
Ah,
which won't do me any good for next week.
that's true.
So, well, no, don't bookmarks. Does Chrome carry those over?
Oh, yeah. They're creepy.
Oh.
So watch what you Google search, and then when you log into Google on your work computer.
Is it sad I haven't bookmarked anything in like 5 years? I don't even know how this works. Why did it open up to like a fucking folder system? What happened to just tucking it away on the toolbar?
I had a million bookmarks that I just thought were lost forever.
And they're somewhere in these folders?
Yep.
How do I even...
But for whatever reason, mine went into a folder that said imported from Firefox. And it's like, I haven't used Firefox in 5 years. Why the fuck did you go to that folder?
Hey, buddy, I knew you wanted this stuff. Look what I found.
Yeah. So on that note, while you bookmark, you got anything to plug?
I don't know how to bookmark it. I'm serious. There's so many... Follow me on Twitter at The Dace Man Show, where I occasionally tweet once a week, or if I ever do anything exciting. Which, if I think about it,
Ireland.
which, yeah, I was just going to say, I will be doing something exciting in a couple weeks. So if I'm smart, I'll tweet a whole bunch of pictures from Ireland. That is, as long as I talk to my mobile carrier and actually have service out there. Gotta remember to do that too.
Yeah.
'Cause it's like $10 a day for unlimited everything from Verizon.
How many days are you gonna be over there?
10.
Fuck.
So it's like $100. But
You're still gonna need porn, so I think it's worth it.
that is very true. I wonder if the place has Wi-Fi that we're staying at.
It's a castle,
Sure.
isn't it? I might have made that up in my head.
It should be. It's gonna be a castle.
Okay. Just don't take pictures of castles and just be like, this is where I'm staying.
Each one. They actually do have. They have like that on Groupon, where they have like castle tours where you can stay in a different castle every night.
Really?
Yeah, but I found it a pain in the ass. Like, who wants to sit there and travel, or, you bring your luggage along every fucking day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of just doing it for a week.
Exactly.
Alright.
So, yeah, I think that was the whole plug and a half.
Cool. Well, follow me on Twitter at the Dace Man. Check out everything going on at thedacemanshow.com. If you're watching here on Facebook, thank you. But head over on to Twitch and subscribe or like us or heart us or whatever the fuck it is. Twitch.tv/Daceman and Friends if you're watching on Twitch. Head over to Facebook.com/DacemanShow, where really that is our main social media outreach program. Where you can find all of the events we're doing, as well as movie reviews and stuff that come from the DaceManShow.com. The big event this Sunday.
Oh, that's what we have going on. Sorry.
Yep.
I knew there was something going on, and I couldn't place it what was going on this weekend. Go ahead. Sorry.
This Sunday, you can come to Adventureland around 11 or noon. It's on our site. Double check. You can earn an opportunity to meet retired WWE superstar Paige. She retired Monday night. So,
she's officially retired?
Yep, she came out, did her whole retirement speech. So come out, show her some love. Not too much love.
Can you call it retirement? I mean, there's got to be a better term. She's like 12.
She is like 6 years younger than us.
Exactly. I don't want to comment that on being retired.
She's now an actress.
There you go. Like, I don't know. I just don't like the term retirement for somebody who's way younger than us.
Yeah, but she's obviously going through some shit, so why not buy an autograph from her? Make her feel better. Remind her that this is her house, as she said last night.
I'm going to learn how to do a backflip, and I'm going to do a backflip in front of her and be like, you can't do that.
You should just start rotating your neck and be like, does this feel good to you?
I think I slept on it a little wrong. It's just a little stiff.
But, yeah, she's officially retired, but we will be there Sunday playing WWE 2K18, where we'll have a tournament. And if you haven't purchased a ticket, you have an opportunity for $10 as the entry fee to win a base ticket. If you've purchased the base ticket or any level of the ticket, and we get an X amount of people out there, you have the opportunity to win the top tier ticket, which I believe is a selfie ticket, which is you get to take a picture with your own camera as well as all the perks from the other previous packages. So we'll be there this Sunday at, I want to say, well, we'll be there probably at 10 or 11 because we have to set up. But the tournament will kick off beforehand, and she does the signing at 4 to 6.
Sure.
I want to say it's that.
I
and then
could look it up. I haven't.
the following week we'll be back there on Sunday to do a Dragon Ball Z Fighters tournament. What we're doing is a special rate of $7 to enter.
7?
Yeah.
Woo-hoo.
7 Dragon Balls, as Gibby pointed out. 7 that I pointed out because it just, you guys aren't biting on 10. So, Dragon Ball Z Fighters at the Adventureland store at the Voorhees Town Center. I think that's all I have.
It sounded good.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Where is the page thing on the website?
It's under 20s.
That would make sense.
I think.
I was looking under events because it sounds like an event.
It technically is. But, I'm pretty shitty at events.
Yeah, that's fair. Just a little point out to anybody that may be looking for it. It's under the tourneys.
Yeah, I don't remember the last time I have updated the events. It might still have the last Daystacular Gaming for a Cause.
No, you're good. It had PAX.
Oh.
And
Look
then
at me.
And the 5th anniversary show that's coming up.
Oh, that's coming up. Yeah.
So, there's that.
5 years on air. God. Why? You know what we should do for the 5th anniversary show?
Shoot Gibby.
Fly to Oklahoma City, because that's where I did it.
Oklahoma City was your first show?
That was my first show.
You brought it back when you were in Oklahoma City.
I brought it back and then got sent to Oklahoma City. My first show also had Mike Payton, Mike Burhan, and Dan Ralph. 3 people no longer associated with the show. So you see how well we did.
Holy shit, $200 for a selfie ticket?
Yep, that's the big one.
Do I blow me with that $200?
You never know. I mean, enter the tournament and you could find out. You get the selfie ticket. Plus,
If
you
you
think
get-
you get like first in line.
If you get the selfie ticket and then you win the tournament, there's a bump up that you have to have somewhere, right?
There's a thank you for playing.
Time on here.
Or I guess you get like another one.
Another selfie?
Yeah, I
Two
guess so. Don't hold me to it. I'm not the one pointing out the prize, but there's.
Yeah. We'll just make it.
Yeah, we'll figure out something.
They don't have the time on their website.
They don't.
No, unless I actually got to buy the damn thing. But just looking at it, one autograph, blah blah, ticket intended. Doesn't even,
It might be on Facebook. Let me see.
I don't even have the date.
They have it's Sunday at 5. Sunday at 5 she'll be there, 5 to 7. That means we'll be there probably at like noon.
Okay. Does it say it on the main page? Does it say the price? Information, blah blah blah. Call for this. Helpful staff. Yep, that's neat. Hashtag page media on social platforms. Yep. No, there's no time or date on this anywhere. There's the date. Okay, never mind. April 15th. It's at the top, which makes sense. That's where you'd put a date. But there's no time.
Yeah. Don't do your taxes. Come out and meet Paige.
Yes.
And I guess that's kind of all I have for the night.
Ready?
Live from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Pittsburgh. I'm live from my couch.
Couch in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh couch.
My couch is not in Pittsburgh.
Where the hell is my outro? Did it play? Okay, there we go. It's playing. Who knows? It's probably drowning me out as I talk because I don't know how to use this. Anyway, as always, for the few,
For the proud?
for the proud. This is quiet. Awkwardly quiet. There it is. And for the Taste-tacular, as always, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next Tuesday.